Hey you all, hey, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, then welcome. I'm Shelly, and today I'm going to be doing a tag for Tag Tuesday. Yay! So for Tag Tuesday, I'm going to do the A to Z book tag. I believe that's what it's called. The A to Z book tag. I was tagged by the wonderful, the amazing, the generous, and totally outspoken in the best way possible, Michelle Lexi. And this tag was created by Perpetual Page Turner. I'm gonna leave both their channels down below. And basically the idea is that there is a prompt that matches with with all the letters of the alphabet. It doesn't, of course, come anywhere near Jim's books, reading and stuff alphabet tag, but it is a good one nonetheless. I'm looking down because I'm looking for the prompts. Okay, so A. All right, A. A is for author you've read the most books from. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about it like, like page-wise, like out of pages. I was like, no, it says the most books. And so if it is the most books, then I'm going to say Oliver Jeffers, who wrote Lost and Found. This is the sweet, subtle story of friendship. Had a moment. Then I have The Day the Crayons Quit. This was written by Drew Daywalt and illustrated by Oliver Jeffers. I like Jeffers' illustrations far more than I like his writing, but his books are still really, really good. And this one's great because it's all about how crayons are tired of being used for the crayons themselves wrote letters to their owner saying that they're so tired of being used for what they're being used for. So like beige is tired of being the color of wheat, and gray is tired of drawing all of the rhinoceroses. It's just a clever, really incredible book for kids, but can be enjoyed at all ages. That is for sure. And then my last, actually no, I have more Oliver Jeffers books than this. I love Oliver Jeffers' writing. But this is The Incredible Boy Eating Book, which is also by Oliver Jeffers. And this one has a bite taken out of it. So yeah, just so cute. All right, B is for best sequel ever. I am not much of a series reader, but I did love the series. I read these in sort of like 15, 16, when I was 15 or 16, and it would be Dave Peltzer's series, A Boy Called It, which really covers his childhood being horribly abused by his mother, and all that he went through as a child, and really the dehumanization of him as a young boy. But he has a trilogy of memoirs. The second one is The Lost Boy, but it is about when he gets out of this situation with his mother and the aftermath of what one has to deal with as somebody who grew up in an abusive situation. At the time, I really was interested and intrigued by this series. I read them with my mom because I had never really known about or read to that depth about somebody who's been in an abusive situation. And I've never, experienced that myself. And so it really gripped me. And I really felt like I was learning about humanity in a way that I had never been introduced to before. Now, I think looking back, and I've seen reviews and I've sort of thumbed through the book, they're engaging, but they're definitely not like highfalutin. He's not the most artful writer, but he did produce some really important books that exist. So yeah, I will just say that, like a disclaimer about his writing. Okay, C. What am I currently reading? Oh, let me show you. I'll be right back. All right, I'm currently reading The Tin Flute by Gabrielle Roy, among other things, but I'll probably finish this today. Okay, D, drink of choice while you're reading. I love to drink hot tea. Anything warm and snuggly and cozy. Sometimes I like decaf coffee, but mostly it's hot tea. All right, ebook or physical book? I will say physical book. I really like having my books as objects around me. I enjoy them. I enjoy looking at them and holding them and feeling them. And when I'm reading, I like touching the pages, and I like the tactile nature of a physical book, as well as the book as an art object, as an object to remind me of the book, of the story that is contained in the book in its pages. So I do like the physical book. I do have a love-hate mix kind of relationship with my Kindle. I had thought about doing a whole video on it because I have very mixed feelings about my Kindle. And I do really enjoy reading it. And I will say that one of the best things about a Kindle is that if I want to read almost anything, truly almost anything, I can get it in ebook, and I don't have to wait for the book to come to me, which is like magic. I mean, if you would have told somebody 100 years ago that they would have a device and on it books will appear and it will be any book that you want, that is magic. And that in that way, I really love the ebook, but I prefer physical books. Okay, next question. F. Fictional character you probably would have actually dated in high school. Okay, high school is kind of a weird thing for me because I was homeschooled, and then I entered college really, really young, and so I dated in high school years, but I wasn't in a physical high school. So I'm gonna actually name the person that I would say that is most like my husband, which actually coincides with a book that I'm reading right now. That would be Wolf Hall, Thomas Cromwell. So Hilary Mantel's version of Thomas Cromwell is very, very, very close to, at least in the half of Wolf Hall that I'm reading now. Mantel's version of Thomas Cromwell is very close to my husband. The subtlety, the not letting on how much he actually knows. Pardon the interruption. So I know that in other Tudor books, Thomas Cromwell is really cast as the villain. I'm not talking about that version of Thomas Cromwell. I'm specifically talking about Hilary Mantel's version of Cromwell in Wolf Hall. My husband is the second in command at he's like very close to the man in charge in his work. And Cromwell is sort of the advisor to the king. Cromwell often doesn't let on how much he knows. He only gives him as much information as he thinks that the person needs, and often he's quite subtle and subversive about it. That's very my husband. Cromwell's often incredibly composed. My husband's often very composed. Well, y'all are getting a lot about my husband. My reading group already heard this. They were laughing at me. But and that Cromwell is a bit of a brute, and my husband has been nicknamed the executioner at his work. Nothing to actually have done any physical harm to anybody, just so you know. Okay, we're moving on from that. Glad you gave this book a chance. I will say that any book that I have read because of a YouTube event, I would have probably never revisited Jane Austen. I don't know about never. I just didn't have Jane Austen in the forefront of my mind. I revisited her works for Jane Austen July. That was incredible. I'm really glad I gave Jane Austen a chance, a second or a third chance. And then, like Victober, what I'm reading now, I don't know if I would have necessarily picked up Christina Rossetti's poems. I don't know if I would have picked up Oscar Wilde's plays. Or if I would have necessarily been reading or listening to Black Beauty. But because we're in Victober, I've warmed up to this time period, these authors, and I'm just so glad. I'm just so grateful and so glad for it. So yeah, I would say anything that BookTube has inspired me to read. Quick setting change, but that's okay. So H is for hidden gem. Hidden gem book. I would say that the hidden gem for me at least was W. Somerset Maugham's Up at the Villa. I read this. This is definitely like a comedy. book about a woman who's recently widowed, I believe, and then there are like 3 suitors and things just go horribly wrong. And I thought that this was hilarious. I don't hear much about I hear Mahim's books like On Human Bondage and other books that he's known for, but I don't hear a lot of people talking about Up at the Villa, which I thought was funny. It was very like, I don't know, the humor just tickled me. It was just one of those, it was supposed to be funny and thus it was for me, I guess. So yeah, Maham. Okay, I is for important reading in your, important moment in your reading life. And I would say that it would be Eli Wiesel's Night. I don't have my copy anymore. I actually gave it away. I love that book. It is about the experience that one has, that Eli himself had, the author. It is his memoir about his time in a concentration camp and surviving that experience. And what I loved about it was this blend of beautiful prose that was talking about this incredibly difficult subject, and it really talked about the extraordinariness of humanity and of compassion. And I think that was the moment that I realized that I loved emotionally deep books. And I still haven't changed. I like books that sort of will rip your heart out, or that explore compassion in a way that we haven't seen before. And a lot of times you need sort of a very perilous situation in order to show that depth. And for Night, it definitely was not only perilous, but true. And it really, really illuminated the wonders of humanity. And I thought it was incredible. It was an incredible read. And I read that about 10 years ago. My husband really encouraged me to read it. I read it about 10 years ago and I have not looked back. That has just definitely been the type of book that I tend to like the most. Okay, major book hangover because, oh wait, L. No, wait. I'm all messed up. Okay, so J, just finished. I just finished A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers, which was fantastic. K, kinds of books you won't read. I don't care for mysteries. Kind of an unpopular opinion here on BookTube. Mystery thrillers, I am not really into that genre, though I'm very open that maybe I just haven't found the right book to get me into that genre. I'm not saying no forever, I'm just saying no for right now. All right. L, longest books you've read. Probably Infinite Jest, or one of the Harry Potter books, because those are very long. Infinite Jest is 1,200 pages or 1,100 pages. So yeah, I'm going to say that. And I did read every single page of it. Okay, including all of the footnotes in the back. Okay, M, major book hangover because I don't really get book hangovers. I really loved A Little Life, and when I was done with that, I think it took me a minute to pick it back up, but it was also because I had just restarted graduate school, and so that could have also been the case. And number of bookcases you own. Hold on one second. I'm going to actually count. I'll be back. We have 5 bookcases in our house. Yeah. Okay. O is for one book you have read multiple times. This would be Wild by Cheryl Strayed. I've mentioned this before, but it's one that I revisit relatively often, especially if I'm in a reading slump. It always kind of gets me back to wanting to read again, enjoying reading again, and I know what I'm going to get from the book. P, preferred place to read. That would be here in my bedroom. Or on the couch. When no one else is home, I like to sit on the couch, but if people are home, I like the bedroom because it is the quietest place in the house. Q, quote that inspires you, gives you all the feels from a book. I really love the quote from Tolkien, "Not all those who wander are lost." R, reading regret. I don't know if it was necessarily a regret. I liked reading Sanctuary by William Faulkner with a group, but I really didn't enjoy that read. And I don't know if I would say that I would take it back if I could, but I didn't love the book. S, series you started and need to finish. That would be Becky Chambers, the Wayfarer series. I'm really enjoying it. I just started the second book, but I'm kind of easing my way into it because I don't want to just put aside all of my other reading for this book, and that's what will happen because I'm finding that her books are very, very pleasurable. Okay, T is for three of your all-time favorite books. Probably Night, as I mentioned earlier, by Eli Wiesel. Mouse by Art Spiegelman has a really special place in my heart for many, many reasons. I really love that book. Again, I don't know if it's an all-time favorite. I just really love that book. And then a book called King Bidgood's in the Bathtub by Dawn and Audrey Wood. It's a picture book. I love that book. Again, I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to choose all-time favorites. But those are three of my favorites that I can think of off the top of my head. Unapologetic Fangirl For. Okay, this is gonna be really strange, but I read a book called Unfollow earlier in the year. Actually, I listened to it and I loved it so much I listened to it twice, basically back to back. And it was written by Megan Phelps Roper, who is part of the Westboro Baptist Church. And the Westboro Baptist Church, I'm sorry for the language, is known for the slur, the really obscene and horrible slur, "God hates fags." Their actual website is godhatesfags.com, which is rough. But her grandfather, Megan Phelps Roper, was the head of the church, the Westboro Baptist Church, and mostly the church is made up of his children and then their children, so his grandchildren, and Megan is his granddaughter, and she was in the church. The subtitle is called Loving and Leaving the Westboro Baptist Church, so she clearly left the church, and it's whenever they make the news now, the Westboro Baptist Church, I am like there. I'm glued. I want to know what this family is doing. I want to know what they're saying. I want to know what their messaging is, and I'm deeply curious about them. Again, I get very, very obsessive about things. Like I'll go on a total rabbit trail down, follow my nose type of thing. And I did that with this family earlier in the year. And for about 6 weeks, I watched every YouTube video I can find of them. I read Megan Phelps Roper's books twice. I listened to every podcast that she was ever interviewed on. In recent years, I saw old videos of her. I watched the documentary about the family. It was ridiculous. So I don't know if I'm a fangirl of her or of her family or of the people who've left the family. It's very strange, but I know that they are very interesting. V, very excited for this release more than all the others. I don't follow new releases, though I probably ought to. I am really excited to read RJ Palacio, who wrote Wonder. I'm excited to read her new book, Pony, but I'm going to try and do that after I read Black Beauty, but that's already out. So I would say I'm most excited for that above all others. W, worst bookish habit. So my worst bookish habit is probably dog-earing the pages. Occasionally I will take vigorous notes. Mostly I'm not in the habit of dog-earing pages, but sometimes I do. I'm kind of hard on my books. That's probably a bad habit. X means X marks the spot. Start at the top of your shelf and pick the 27th book. Oh, I gotta be back and do that. I'll be back. I'm back. It's back in the spot. It's been a crazy day. I went to go get my 27th book on one of the bookshelves. You know, it wasn't specified which bookshelf, so I had a couple of choices. And then we have been having some work done to our kitchen. We had our kitchen redone, and it's been going on for the last several months. It started July 3rd, and so it's been until now when it was supposed to be done at the end of July, but you know. So anyways, 27th book for X Marks the Spot, and I have this, which is a fun one. The Highly Selective Dictionary for the Extraordinarily Literate. And the author is Eugene Elrich. But yeah, it's probably the most pretentious book I own. All right. Why your latest book purchase? I'm actually going to link my haul video, but I bought a whole bunch of books recently that came in through thrift books, and some of them were kids books, and some of the books came in from the library. Those were probably my most recent, so the library books, but one of them was The Awakening by Kate Chopin. So, and the last one is ZZZ Snatcher book, the last book that kept you up way too late. That would probably be, oh man, I'm cycling back around, but that's gonna be Sanctuary by William Faulkner, and it kept me up. After I read it, I was so disturbed that it kept me up because I was very disturbed. Yeah, so that's it. Kind of ending on a bit of a somber note, but that's it. I guess I'm gonna have to tag people, so give me a moment while I figure out the tag situation. I'll 1 second. Okay, I never do this, but I'm opting out, y'all. I'm gonna opt out. I don't know who has done this tag. I think this tag has been around a while, and it's getting like a second or third life. And it's a great one. It's a great tag. So I tag you. If you've not done the tag, then please do the tag. Otherwise, yeah, that's it for me. I hope you all have a wonderful day. For me, it's evening. Usually I kind of like, I'm like good and happy, and then all of a sudden, like at 7, I sort of like shut down because I just can't after 7 p.m. And it is currently at 7:02, y'all. Oh, that's not over here, camera focus. Okay, well, it's 7:02, and so I know that like the shutting down process is happening, so I'm gonna go before that happens. But yeah, thank you all for being here. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye, guys.